You're listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.
Three numbers before the open. The KOSPI closed at 6,806, down 8.95%, 546 trillion won, about $365 billion, wiped out in a single session. The index broke back below 7,000 for the first time in 2 months, now more than 20% under last month's peak of 9,114. Foreign and institutional investors sold a combined 3.9 trillion won, roughly $2.6 billion. Here's what's driving it. It's Tuesday, July 14th. Here's what today's story could mean for the Korean market. The sell-off traces to renewed fears that the semiconductor cycle has peaked. SK Hynix's U.S. depository receipt listing wrapped up, removing a catalyst that had powered the rally. Single-stock leverage products amplified the swings, tripping 5 circuit breakers since May. Here's what the numbers show. SK Hynix plunged 15.37%, and Samsung Electronics fell 10.70%, with SK Hynix logging its steepest single-day drop on record. Foreign investors dumped 1.7 trillion won, about $1.1 billion, while institutions sold 2.2 trillion won, near $1.5 billion. Korea's 4 largest chip names shed 1,522 trillion won, roughly $1 trillion, in just 3 weeks. The KOSPI now sits more than 20% below its June 22nd peak of 9,114.55, the 5th such drawdown in 2 decades. Korea Investment and Securities cut its SK Hynix second quarter operating profit estimate to about 8% below the market consensus. The 8.95% drop stood out globally against a 1.92% dip in the Nikkei and gains in Hong Kong and Taiwan. So what does this mean for active traders? Earlier, we flagged 3.9 trillion won in combined selling. That flow points to a positioning unwind, not a collapse in chip demand. Analysts read the drop as profit-taking after a sharp run-up, tied to leverage liquidation and the spent ADR catalyst. The next signal comes late July when Samsung and SK Hynix report earnings, and Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft, and Amazon flag AI Capex plans starting the 22nd. That's today's AI Prism. Stock investors. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI Prism is a Won IFRA award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.
You've been listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.